All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. Nick Marro here with DFS Jayhawk. We got a Nick at noon stream today for the NBA playoffs. Four-game slate today, so we are back going live. We should be here tomorrow as well. But yeah, we've been gone for a little bit. Just had these two-game playing slates, but Jayhawk's been in the Discord, giving out the plays and all the good stuff like that. So I know we got a lot of questions saying, "Where you guys been?" But yeah, we took a couple days off for these two gamers, but we're back now. We're going to try to stream for as many of these four gamers as we can. Rary Finch here with that exact question. Hope we answered that one. Jose, love to see it, man. How many studs are we going to fit in one single lineup, and who are they? Jayhawk and I did spend like a few minutes before going live today. There's a lot to like on this slate, but yeah, Jayhawk, any initial takes on this one?
Yeah, I think most people will probably just fit in Giannis, but I think we have a bunch of great, like, two cheap guards like Harden and Cade as well. So we'll talk through it all though.
Yep, for sure. We're gonna go game by game. We got Unicorn here. Love to see you, man. Punjab Hitchhiker is saying Luca. Yeah, I mean Luca looks good. It's just it's easier to go balanced, I will say. But Jizzy, appreciate you. Heath as well. All right, guys, let's get into it here. So we were talking before the stream. If you guys play on Christmas, it's kind of like one of those slates. Like all the games are staggered. There's really no overlap. So you're able to pivot if we do get news. I mean, the good news is that there's not a lot of news we're waiting on. So what you got to do is, if you're playing guys in the early games and that you're doing well, you're fine to continue to play more popular plays. But if you start to fall behind, get off the chalk and try to climb the leaderboard that way. So there is a little bit of strategy that goes into tournaments and these staggered slates like this. But let's go right ahead and get into the game by game. First game on the slate here, we got the Bucks taking on the Pacers at 1 p.m. Eastern in Indiana. Pacers slight favorites, 225-point total here. Still no Dame Lillard. He should be back next week. Somehow recovered from that blood clot, so great to hear that. But yeah, no other injuries. Tyler Smith's listed on the injury report. Don't really know why. On the Pacers side, no Isaiah Jackson. Ben Shepard is probable. Starting on the Milwaukee side, so we know there's no Dame. And yeah, I think one of the best value plays on the DK slate's going to have to be Kevin Porter Jr. He's been outplaying Rollins recently when given the opportunity. Neither really projected for a ton of minutes here, but they do both look solid. Sorting by DK value, Porter top play. On FanDuel, it's more of a conversation though, where he's priced up to 6,300. Don't think he's necessarily the same priority there. But we do have Portis back. He's going to be super popular, just a little bit too cheap for what he's capable of. Going to be on the floor pretty much any minute that Giannis isn't. But Giannis, one of the more popular payups on the board, Jayhawk. I mean, we can really talk through this entire team, I think. I will say I do prefer Porter over Rollins. Not crazy about Kuzma. I'd rather play Portis. But Giannis looks good. Fine getting to some Lopez. I mean, you can make a case for almost anyone here. But how are you going to handle the Bucks?
Yeah, man. First of all, love the KPJ shout. I think they're really gonna lean on him in the playoffs here. Too cheap, 4,300. It's just an incorrect price point. Absolutely love KPJ. And then Portis is my 1B here, like you mentioned, way too cheap, 5K. So those two, Portis and KPJ, probably my two favorite plays, point per dollar. And then Giannis is still great. I don't know how much I'll jam Giannis alongside those two, but I think, sorry, there's a knot in my face. I think at his price, he still looks like a great play. So fine with Giannis, but love KPJ and Portis.
Yeah, KBJ and Portis kind of do feel like the core plays here. Portis very, very popular on DK, more so KBJ, but I'm surprised he's not more popular than 18%.
Yeah.
Certainly something to keep an eye on. Nobody playing Rollins over on DK. He is getting some love on FanDuel where he's much cheaper. Again, these guys should kind of split minutes, but at the same time, KPJ's just been the much better producer in terms of fantasy. A couple guys I think we need to at least mention: Torian Prince, Gary Trent Jr. I don't necessarily trust them. I think Portis being back should cut into their minutes, but at the same time, if either gets hot from three, they're probably going to be useful as value. So you're fine to mix them in if you're playing a bunch of lineups. But again, the priorities here are probably Giannis, Porter Jr. on DK, Portis on both sides for sure. But yeah, that's Milwaukee. Let's go over to the Indiana side of things. Again, no real significant injuries here. The price on Halliburton is down, especially on DK, 8,300 for him against a team that doesn't do well against guards. Feels too cheap to me. Definitely one of my favorite guard plays on this slate. This is a healthy team, though. We got to keep that in mind. So guys like Siakam, Turner, they're fine, but priced where they should be. Nemhard probably a little bit too cheap for the minutes we're projecting him for. We have him over 30. He looks fine. Naismith as well. I mean, both these guys, tough to know night to night or day to day which one's really going to get there, but I think one of these two do. Don't know that I'd want both in the same lineup, Naismith and Nemhard. Not that there's a ton of direct correlation there, but if one's having a ceiling, I have it. I don't know. I think it's kind of tough for both of them to get there, even though they are pretty cheap. Not going to get too much Matherin off the bench. I know TJ McConnell's someone we're usually interested in, but I don't know. In the playoffs, I don't know that he's ever going to be playing 20 minutes in a game unless Halliburton gets hurt or ends up in foul trouble. So for me, I do like Halliburton. I think he's too cheap on both sites. Fine mixing in Siakam and Turner. Um, but yeah, I guess Nemhard and Naismith are my favorites. It's just weird to say that out loud. And I do want to kind of make the distinction that I probably wouldn't want both in one lineup. But I do think they're both underpriced, pretty useful if you're looking to pay up at other positions. Jayhawk, how are you going to break down the Pacers here?
Yeah, man. First of all, love the Hallie call. I think he's just way too cheap in this spot. 8,300, just way too cheap. So getting a bunch of Hallie on both sides. And then Nimhard and Neesmith, I think both are great as well. I was getting slightly more Neesmith, but I think Nimhard is great as well. I just worry. I was going to bounce this back to you, but are you worrying about potentially playing uh, Nemhard and Halliburton in the same line just for upside purposes?
I think on DK they're both cheap enough that it isn't necessarily going to hurt. Like if Halliburton has one of those games where he's just playing point, taking a ton of not taking a ton of shots, just really going after the assists. Um, I think there's a world where it works out. I will say I'm a little bit more comfortable with Naismith and Halliburton together. But yeah, I just think on VK where they're priced, I'm not too concerned about it. On FanDuel, it's more of a conversation where they're a little bit more expensive. But again, I don't think I'm too concerned again, just because they're a bit cheap for their upside here against a team that kind of stinks against guards defensively. So yeah, I wouldn't talk you out of it, honestly. I think Halliburton's just too cheap. So it's pretty easy for one of these other secondary pieces to get there with him.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. Perfect.
Nice, man. Glad we're on the same page there. Let's go ahead and check out chat. Appreciate you guys being here. It's all good. Smashing one day and getting smoked the next in MLB. Yeah, that's MLB, man. Yeah, Smitty and I, you guys are familiar with Smitty. Right in the plug every day here for Occupy. MLB is volatile. Some days you're going to crush, some days you're not. But you got to lean into that variance. Yeah, Jeff, shouts out GB, one of my good friends. KPG looking like great value. Love him on DK. Shocked he's not more popular. Don here, say boys, Bucks and Jokic today. Yeah, if you can fit him, man. Jokic, one of the more under-owned plays on the slate. We're about to get into that game. We'll talk through that in just a minute. Can we stack three Minnesota bigs? Just feels like a nightmare matchup for the Lakers. Three seems aggressive, Landon. I do really like Gobert. We'll talk about that game in a minute. Which portion has the highest? Position. I'll give this one to you, Jayhawk. I've been ripping through these questions, but
Mhm.
which position do you think the most value is at today? I'm thinking it's guard on DK. I'm not so sure on FanDuel though.
Yeah, guard. I think it's close between obviously guard and forward, but I think guard has a couple more like safer value plays. Like we have Dante DiVincenzo will cover as well, Mike Conley. So yeah, I'd probably say guard there.
Nice. Yeah, Christian Brown probably a little bit cheap. We'll talk about
Mhm.
Rui in a little bit. He's another one I think we can probably circle. But yeah, it kind of depends on the slate. I mean, not slate, on the site. Yeah, Minnesota Bigs are probably going to push Jackson Hayes around. I'm with you, Jose, but guys, keep this in mind with Rui back. Hayes has only been playing like 15 minutes a game. So it's not like he's going to be out there getting his lunch taken from him all day. Um, but yeah, it is a pretty damn good spot for Minnesota Bigs, that's for sure. But let's get into the next game here, 3:30 p.m. We did just get a question about Joker. We get the Clippers taking on the Nuggets in Denver. Denver obviously better when they're playing at home. Tight spread though, 223.5 point total. As far as injuries, nothing for the Clippers. Nuggets are listing Deron Holmes the second on the injury report today. God knows why. So really nothing here we need to worry about too much as far as injuries go. Taking a look at the Clippers first, I mean, the prices on these guys, they're all pretty appealing. I don't know that I'd want more than one in a lineup necessarily. Harden feels too cheap on DK at 9K. Kawhi feels reasonably priced on both sides, definitely better on DK at 8,400. And then Zoo looks good here. He's had some pretty big games against Jokic in the past. So the entire big three to me is appealing. Getting outside of that gets tricky. I mean, the minutes for Chris Dunn are probably going to be there. He just hasn't been super productive with these starters. Taking a look at what he's been doing recently, he had a great game against Golden State. But other than that, I mean, it's rare we see him hitting value even at a very cheap price. Pushing 20% on DK, over 25 or pushing 25 on FanDuel, I'm pretty comfortable getting away from him. At the same time, he is pretty useful if you are looking to kind of go stars and scrubs today. It's kind of tough to do. Bogdan, probably one of the first guys off the bench, has not been playing well. He could get hot. I don't mind mixing him in. I can kind of say the same for someone like Derek Jones. Not really interested in Norm Powell as he's kind of taking a backseat to the big three. I'm interested in the big three. I don't know that I want more than one in a lineup. I think Harden is my favorite on both sides. Kawhi looks good to me too, though, especially if he's going to be a little bit lower on. Jayhawk, how are you going to deal with these Clippers?
Yeah, man, I think all three of the studs here, Kawhi, Harden, and Zubac, all are too cheap. I do lean Zubac the most here. I think against Jokic, I think they're going to really need his size and presence in the paint here. So point per dollar, I'm getting the most of Zubac. Then Harden, I just think 9K, he's going to do everything, obviously, for the Clippers tonight. Just think it's way too cheap in this spot. And then I think Kawhi is still great. I'm just not getting to as much. I think we just have a bunch of value at forward. So getting more of the spend ups at guards. So yeah, I think that's how I rank them. And then for Chris Dunn, I also think he's kind of questionable chalk. He is really cheap. Like you mentioned, he does allow you to get the stars and scrubs, but I probably will be under the 20% ownership on DraftKings.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on all that. I will say these teams matched up 3 times this year, I think, and one of those games, Zubac really went off. He kind of struggled in the other two. Harden, same deal. He had one really good game against this team, struggled in the other two. So again, we're dealing with too small of sample sizes to really glean much from that. I think Kawhi was out for a few of those earlier games. Just digging through on my other monitor here to see what he did against Denver. Yeah, I don't even know that he's been in any of these games against Denver. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Can't really look at game logs when we're dealing with a 2 or 3 game sample. So definitely a wide range of outcomes. But again, I don't know that I'd want more than one in a lineup. I think it's going to be tough for all of them to get over 50 fantasy points. One almost certainly does. 2 probably do. I don't think 3 will. So again, you're playing a little bit of roulette there with the Clippers, but they do look really solid here. And the Nuggets defense isn't great, if we're being completely honest. On the Denver side of things, again, no real significant injuries. Murray's back and healthy. To me, on FanDuel, he's way too cheap, or on both sides, really. And you got the shooting guard eligibility. I'm really interested in him here. Obviously, not the best matchup, but if you're not getting to Jokic and you want exposure to Denver, Murray has kind of been the guy. Jokic, obviously, if you could find the salary for him, one of the best plays on the slate. If we're looking at OF index, he's actually the top pay up on the entire board with the 17.2. Only 12% owned on DK, where you could play 2 centers. Only 4% on FanDuel, which is absolutely insane to me. I'm only playing a couple lineups on FanDuel. I do think I want to force Jokic into at least one. Again, it's just crazy to me that he's not a little bit more popular. I know there's not a ton of great value on the slate with these teams being healthy, but at the same time, I mean, it's Nikola Jokic. His upside is crazy. The last time these teams played, I don't think he actually suited up. He did have a really good game against them in December where he went for 70 over 40 minutes. So again, we're dealing with too small of a sample to really glean much from the matchups during the regular season. But at the same time, I think that ownership is just wrong. Yeah, you can mix in Gordon. He's too cheap on FanDuel, especially. Porter and Brown look good. Brown really too cheap on DK. Denver, a good team here, but again, they're healthier than they have been, kind of priced where they should be. So Gordon, kind of the core play for me on FanDuel. I will say Christian Brown, I'm pretty bullish on over on DK. Surprised he's not more popular than 12%. But Jokic, kind of crazy he's not getting more love. Jayhawk, how are you going to deal with the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah, man. So happy you shouted out my guy, Christian Brown here. 5,600. I think he's great in tournaments. Sub 10% owned. What can we not like here? Top of the DK value. Yeah, love Christian Brown in tournaments. Like you mentioned, especially if you're not getting to Nikola Jokic. I think he looks incredible. And then Jokic himself, 12 and 4%. I mean, I'm not too scared of this matchup. I mean, it's obviously Zubac, but it's still Jokic. So I think he looks awesome. You can get all the way up. And then the last thing I'm getting some exposure to is AG here. 6,100. It's more of just like a filler play for me. But he's 33% on FanDuel. So that's a big ownership disparity there. So what's your take on Gordon? Were you higher on him on FanDuel compared to DraftKings?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because of the price I am,
Yeah.
I mean, his last 2 games against the Clippers, he was kind of banged up. He only played 23 minutes. He was pretty much about a fantasy point per minute in those spots, though. So, like, if they're really going to key on Jokic defensively, we've seen Gordon kind of fall into crazy rebound upside. So, I think we could maybe get that from him here. I will say the ownership disparity is enough for me to like him on DK as well. Like, I don't think he should be 10%. I think he should be higher than that. FanDuel about where he should be. Again, only power forward eligible. He used to have small forward, I think, on one side or the other, but it doesn't really matter today. I do prefer him over a Michael Porter. Porter could get hot. He's low owned too. But for the discount, I just like what Gordon can do. I think the rebounding gives him a much higher floor of the two. So I think all of the Nuggets are under owned, though, if I'm being completely honest. Probably won't get to Russ off the bench. Just don't know how many minutes he's going to play, but all the starters are interesting to me here.
Yep, love it. I think that's a perfect way to break it down.
Thanks, man. All right. I'm going to hit a quick refresh on the model just in case anything else has changed. While we do that, we'll take a look at chat. Yeah, Harden probably as high as you get. Yeah, Jeff, I'm very familiar with Jeff here. We always talk before every slate. Not a guy who likes to pay all the way up. So on a slate like this where there's not much value, I totally get it. Probably better to go with some more balance. You're not taking as many risks. Pickett will start or Westbrook. Neither, Don. I think it's going to be Christian Brown next to Jamal Murray. Pickett's been out playing Westbrook, but I don't think you could really trust their minutes either way. Let's see. Just looking at what Pickett's been doing lately. Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple games where he's spiked an upside. Okay is like a last piece in, but not someone I probably get to only playing a handful of lineups, but not a bad name to shout. And Murray, I mean, technically yes, Don, but not really. I mean, we've seen Jokic go for 100 points with Murray in there. Don't want to worry about it too much. Yeah, Harden's price today gives you Trey yesterday vibes. Yeah, he just feels underpriced. The thing I will say is there's other pivots though. Like Halliburton to me is way too cheap on DK as well. And do we have a minutes projection for Alexander Walker? I'll just take a quick look at that. We have it for 24. Actually, a really popular play. We'll talk through that in a minute. But yeah, guys, appreciate the questions. Keep getting them in. We're going to go pretty much up until 12:45, I think. Maybe a little sooner than that we'll cut off. But we have DraftKings and FanDuel pulled up. We'll try to do a dummy build for each before the end of this. Again, only two more games to get through, making great time. We got a game here in the 6 o'clock window between the Pistons and the Knicks, 220-point total. Detroit, no significant injuries other than Jaden Ivey, who's going to probably miss the whole playoffs. He's been out for a while, so nothing really changes there. On the Knicks side of things, Hawk Porty is questionable. Don't even think he's in the rotation, though, so not really something we need to dig into. Right as I'm saying, hey, Halliburton's probably too cheap. When was the last time we got Cade Cunningham at 9,400 over on DK? Historically, I mean, guys shoot better in the Garden. This is a good spot. For Cade Cunningham, I think he's another guy you can pivot to if you want to. 18% owned on DK looks fine. He's priced on FanDuel where he's been all season at 10-2. 11% does feel a little bit low. At the same time, not someone I'm prioritizing. Not the best spot for these guys, if we're being completely honest. Knicks defense is obviously pretty solid. At the same time, I mean, they're going to run a tight rotation. You can make a case for guys like Harris. I mean, the Thompson price is up to a point where I'm not super interested. Hardaway Jr., though, finished the season on an absolute fire. I probably don't get to him with Tobias Harris back. I just want to put that out there. Detroit, a team I'm not really bullish on here. I do think they're going to be competitive in the series, though. So maybe I need to kind of rethink this. But yeah, just not getting to a ton of Pistons right now. But maybe that's a mistake, Jayhawk. How about you? You get into much Detroit?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, it's mainly just Cade here. Just I think he's in a pretty good spot in tournaments. You mentioned at the Garden, should be able to shoot pretty good here, barring foul trouble or whatever. So yeah, love Cade in tournaments. I think I still put him behind Harden for me, but he's still great at his price. And then the rest of the team, Dern and Harris, I just wasn't getting there as much as the field is. I think we have safer point per dollar forward and center plays. Maybe you get to Duran, but I just much prefer Cade in this spot in general from Detroit.
Yeah, I don't again want to look too deeply into these like one game samples, but these teams did play on the 10th, which was like a week or so ago. 25 minutes for Duran. He did get over 41 DK points, which is obviously notable. But you could say the same. Towns on the other side, and I'll use this as a segue into the next 29 minutes, 45 fantasy points. So both these centers were getting theirs offensively. Maybe we see that again today. If that is the case, I do think they're a little bit too cheap on DK, especially where you could play two centers. So I'll kind of say he's maybe the secondary Piston to get to. The Tobias Harris ownership to me on FanDuel is a little bit insane. Again, would much rather get to Aaron Gordon for cheaper. But again, if you're falling behind and looking to pivot, keep an eye on the ownership throughout the day. You're going to want to get onto these lower owned plays if your early games aren't going so well. But on the Knicks side of things, again, no real injury issues. Towns is expensive. He's done pretty well in this matchup, though. Brunson's still playing a little bit banged up. But another guard who feels a little bit too cheap. You can make a case for Hart. OG finished the season super strong. He is probably my favorite Nick here. Don't mind mixing in Bridges. Very much scoring dependent, though. And then Robinson and McBride off the bench. I don't think I get there. Again, Thibs already runs his starters 40 minutes a game in the regular season. They're going to run even more here if they can. I like Towns. Probably don't get to him much, though. Again, there's just so many other pay-ups on the slate that feel a little bit safer, but could make the same case for him that we do for Jokic. Probably under-owned for what he's capable of. Again, I think Hart, my favorite, or no, not Hart. OG, my favorite, just a little bit cheaper than Hart. Those two do look solid to me. But again, just a tough team to really prioritize night to night. One of these guys probably really breaks for a 50 plus, not counting Brunson or Cat, one of the wings, but I don't know which one it's going to be. I've been favoring OG lately, and it's kind of worked out, so I'll go back to him again here. But yeah, Knicks look good. I just don't know that they look great. How many of these guys are you getting to, in what order?
Yeah, so I think you mentioned the Cats. As of right now, my favorite play overall. Just running double center builds. I think he makes for a really good play. So like Cat, and then I do also prefer OG to Harden Bridges. He's just I feel like they're really going to want him out there, especially in the playoffs, man. Probably their best defender on the court. So love OG at his ownership, and then Brunson. He's kind of getting pinched for me. Obviously, we touched on Cade and Harden up top, even Hallie. So he's just kind of getting pinched. He's still okay, but I would much prefer getting to Cat and the rest of the team.
Yeah, I'm with you. I will say Brunson, the past few years, even back to when he was with Dallas, has been tremendous in the playoffs. He really turns it on. His usage goes up. He takes a million shots. Efficiency goes up. I think he's still a little bit banged up, so I don't know that we see that here. And Detroit pretty decent defensively as well. So don't want to over kind of tout him here, but Brunson on DK at 10%, probably someone you can mix in a little bit as a way to get different, especially if you're falling behind early. He does have a ton of upside if he is 100% healthy. We've seen a different Jalen Brunson in the playoffs over the past few seasons. So again, just keep that in mind. But yeah, not the most appealing game, but the total is similar to a lot of the others. It's actually higher than the late game that we're about to break down. So the field not getting there for good reason, I think, because there are more appealing options in these other spots. But again, the field isn't getting there either. So yeah, just I don't know. If you're looking for pivots, probably a good place to go. Maybe not your primary place today. Um, the Prince asking if you're going to do a sheet today. I don't know if you are, since we're on right now.
Yeah,
That's up to you,
yeah,
man.
probably not today, but when we're not on stream, I'll continue doing the sheets.
And Swerve, yeah, low on play of the day. I think we could try something like that here for you.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean Christian Brown on DK for me. He said other than Brown, I do like Gordon. On FanDuel, I guess Jokic if he could get there. But yeah, I think the Nuggets are just on their own.
Yeah, I like a lot of the Nuggets. We'll touch on this guy right now, but mine is going to be someone from this Minnesota team here. That's not Mike Conley or DiVincenzo. So
Ooh, good tease, good tease. I love it. Would you pair Giannis and Portis together? Yeah, Don, I think Portis is cheap enough that you could do it. They do share the floor together. Do you agree, Jayhawk?
yeah, yeah, I'm totally okay with Pucks34. That sounds like his username on like a
Yeah. Instant Messenger Xbox. Yeah.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
Favorite game to get to? Kind of tricky. I think it's probably just because I like the Nuggets so much. It might be Nuggets Clippers. Like you play one of the Clippers big three and then run it back with a bunch of Denver. Like that's probably my favorite build if I'm focusing on one game. I don't know that I am really focusing on one game though. Jayhawk, do you have a game you prefer over the others?
I think the chalkiest game, probably for good reason, will be this Milwaukee game. But you mentioned it. I really like that Clippers game as well. So probably those two. And then I'm mixing in just value pieces from the other two games.
Power here, fastest man in MLB, Chandler Simpson leading off in his debut. Yeah, Kevin Cash, the king of righty lefty splits, wasn't going to play him last night against Rodon. Talented young lefty hitter though, Chandler Simpson. If he can get on base, he stole 100 bases in the minors last year. So yeah, a little bit of MLB here from Power. Always happy to indulge. And yeah, attack NYK on the wing, Jeff. I mean, in the year 2025, we're talking about positionless basketball for the most part. You can attack them on the wing, but it's like you got Tobias Harris, maybe Beasley off the bench. Like their shots are going to need to fall, so they're going to be scoring dependent. I think you could play those too, but I don't know. Historically, the Knicks are pretty good defensively everywhere, so I want to go too deeply into that. Do we prefer Malik Beasley or Nas Reed for their price? Let's see what the model says. I mean, I'm leading Reed. Beasley's only a 5.40 off index. Nas's minutes have been pretty inconsistent, but I think they want him against the Lakers size. Yeah, slightly better score here for Reed. So I guess I lead Reed. Jayhawk, how about you?
Yeah, man, that's a tough question. I think they're both, like you said, project out pretty similar here on the model. I think I probably lean Reed as well, just because against the Lakers here, he could spike a shooting upset here. So
Yeah, could definitely see it. Again, wide range of outcomes for both, but definitely guys with upside that are low owned, so you can mix them in. Let's go ahead and get to the last game on the slate here, 8:30 p.m. The Timberwolves taking on the Lakers. Lowest total on the board at 216 points, but it's not far off the others, so I don't want to look too deeply into that. Starting on the Minnesota side, 0 injuries on the injury report. Lakers side, LeBron probable. Why not? Maxi Kleber is going to be out. Not that that really matters at all. Starting on the Timberwolves, I mean, Mike Conley's cheap. He's probably going to play minutes. We only have him for 24, though. So I don't know. If he's popular, I'm pretty comfortable getting a little bit different. At the same time, I mean, how many starters are that cheap that are actually going to be touching the ball? So there's a case to be made for him. I don't know that I get there aggressively. My favorite Timberwolf is going to be Rudy Gobert. He's been playing really well. Lakers defensively not great in the front court. Should be able to get whatever he wants here in terms of rebounding. Not popular either. Again, I really do want to be bullish on Jokic where I can, but if not, Rudy probably my favorite center on the slate. Going to get to a bunch of him. Can make a case for him. McDaniels hasn't been playing really well. I actually think Julius Randle the better play if you can find the salary over McDaniels. But Jayhawk, you kind of teased this spot here. I know DiVincenzo and Walker getting a lot of love off the bench. Which of these Timberwolves are you prioritizing?
So you're not going to like me, Nick, but I actually do really like this is not a usual call for me, but it's kind of a hunch here. Jaden McDaniels, I think in this
Okay.
spot, I know he's never hasn't really spiked the ceiling recently, but I think against the Lakers, if they're trying to shut down Ants, I think we could see McDaniels knock down a couple threes here, get a couple steals, a couple fast break buckets. So it's going to be McDaniels for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it at the price. I will say since Reed has come back and Randall's come back, his production's really come down. Like he's just not seeing the usage. But you're right. I mean, he's going to be relied on defensively against Luca and LeBron and others, so he will be on the floor. Just gotta hope he takes a few shots. Maybe his spacing is something they value today. So I don't hate it at the price. I mean, we were paying up to 7K for this guy at other points during the season, so there is some upside there for sure at reasonable ownership. I don't hate it. Let me ask you though, Alexander Walker and DiVincenzo, we have them for 24 and 25 minutes respectively off the bench. Definitely would have wanted both in the same lineup. I do prefer DiVincenzo of the two, but you could probably make a case for both. How are you going to handle these guards off the bench?
Yeah, so I think they're both super interesting. DiVincenzo, I think I lean more 4,200, good price points. Should be able to shoot good here. So I lean DiVincenzo, but nickel 20% owned. I think they're both fine. I do lean DiVincenzo there. I think his minutes are slightly more secure. Did you have a different lean than me?
No, I like DiVincenzo better. I think he's going to be running point more than Walker would. And Conley, if he's playing limited minutes, I think that's going to benefit DiVincenzo more than anyone. So yeah, I think off the bench, there's some risk in both these guys, especially since they're super popular. But I'm more comfortable getting to DiVincenzo. And Walker's actually more popular on DK, which is a little bit surprising to me. But yeah, I don't think there's many plays that cheap that we have over 20 minutes, so I get it. But yeah, at the same time, probably wouldn't want both in the same lineup. Are you getting too much Ant today? He's super low on.
Man, I want to because man, this price point I just think is way too incorrect here. 8,700. I think I'd probably throw him behind Harden and Cade and probably right around uh, Halliburton. So, yeah, I'd probably put him number 4 compared to the other studs on the site for guard, but he looks great as ownership, man. Did you have a different take here?
No, again, I think he's a good ownership pivot, but I'm with you. I think those other guards are more appealing. I will say on FanDuel, where you can play him at forward, a little bit more interest over there. But yeah, Gobert's my favorite Timberwolf here. I'm definitely going to get to a lot of him. But yeah, man, we'll see how McDaniels does. He's going to be on the floor. The minutes are there. It's just, will he take shots? I guess is the question. If he does, you may be at the top of leaderboards tonight for sure. On the other side here, again, no real injuries for the Lakers we're worried about. No Maxi Kleber, not that he's really a thing. Rui Hachimura has been playing pretty well. He's going to start. He's been over 30 minutes consistently. The most popular value play on this team, rates really well on both sites. I like Rui. I'm fine getting to him. I think with the minutes, he makes plenty of sense here. Then we got to talk about Reeves, James, Luca. I mean, they all look good. I don't know. I always have issue getting to Reeves with Luca and LeBron active, but they really lowered his price, man. They're making it tempting. Not gonna lie, I don't mind mixing him in here. Obviously, Luca is Luca. He looks tremendous. The upside is there. Not the best matchup for him historically, but definitely one of the top plays on the slate in terms of OF index. Kind of similar as Jokic, probably under owned for what he's capable of doing. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come in higher owned than we are projecting him currently at 10% on DK, 13 on FanDuel. People just love to play Luca. It is what it is. But yeah, man, I mean, these guys look fine. I do like the price decrease for Reeves. Makes him more appealing. LeBron, probably the easiest to get to if we're talking about just standard builds, like where the value sits on the slate. He's a little bit too cheap for what he's capable of. But again, not the best matchup for these guys. I think Rui makes the most sense, especially on DK, just too cheap. But you could make a case for the others. Which Lakers are you getting to?
Yeah, so we kind of both touched on him pre-stream. I think Rui's probably the best point per dollar play here overall. So I really like Rui in the mid tier. And then I think between the big three, I'm probably gonna get the most of LeBron here. 6% owned. You know, it's the playoffs. LeBron's gonna be dialed in, ready to go. So I think LeBron's probably my favorite between the three. You did mention that Reeves is way too cheap. Another really underpriced card today. Kind of a constant theme. 14% owned. I'd be fine getting there too. And then I have no interest in Hayes and Dorian Finney-Smith. Do I see the ownership correct? Is that 21% on FanDuel? That seems kind of high.
I think 11 on
11. Sorry, my
last time I
eyes.
refresh.
Get my
No,
eyes.
you're good. You're good. I mean, he'll play minutes off the bench. Like, I don't think he's a terrible pivot off of like an Alexander Walker if you have them in utility. Like, if you're looking to get different, but yeah, if he's 21, I wouldn't get there. I do want to say these teams played on the 27th of February. LeBron had one of his best games of the year, almost 70 fantasy points, and that was with Luca in. So, yeah, if LeBron's going to be this low owned and you're game log watching, which is never too wise, he has done well in this matchup historically. So, at least recently. So, yeah, LeBron makes some sense, especially on DK at 6%. That's a little bit crazy to me, but there's a ton of low owns upside plays today. So, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. Let's go ahead and do some dummy builds. But before we do, I'll take one last look at chat here. Once again, appreciate you guys being here. Fire up Simpson, yeah, some MLB talk. Pat Connington night, that's a no for me. ATL would be really tough for him to get there. He'd have to catch fire, and I still think Trent and Prince are ahead of him on the depth chart. Any Connington for you there, Jayhawk?
No, probably not. I would much rather just get to any of the other value plays or even KPJ on DraftKings.
Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and do some dummy builds. On DK, I think Portis is too cheap.
Yep.
Probably want to start with him. We both really like Rui, right?
Yep. KPJ. Oh, let's get KPJ.
Oh yeah, Porter Jr.'s price is crazy, and I mean we're going with all value first, so we have some options now. Um, okay, I think we need a guard,
Yeah.
right? We like Harden maybe the best. Brunson and Ellie look good.
I'd say Hallie Nimhard at shooting guard. We have who else? What's his face? Neesmith. We can plug in at guard or forward too. So
You know what? Let's go with Harden, and then we could go with one of the cheap Pacers. I
okay.
think that's probably the move.
Yeah.
Do you have a firm preference between Naismith or Nemhard?
Model slightly prefers They're the same DK value. Let's go Nemhard just because he's 12% less owned than Neesmith.
Like that. All right, center. I mean, I love Rudy here. Is there anyone else you wanted to prioritize? I
No,
mean,
let's
Durant looks pretty good.
yeah, Rudy. You get Zubac, but I like Rudy at low ownership. Let's go there.
Yeah, I like the price a lot too. So we're left with 8K per. I mean, we could go LeBron and see what we're left with, or we could try to jam Giannis.
Either one's good with me. I mean, we could go LeBron and Gobert
Yeah,
or Giannis.
yeah. I want to see if we go with if we go with Giannis, we could play your boy McDaniel's. I mean, that's not a bad build.
You could you
Or
could
if
also
we go
go
with
you could also go Neesmith and that util as well with Giannis. But yeah, LeBron's great too.
yeah, or if we go with LeBron, we're on Aaron Gordon,
Yeah.
Bridges, Turner. I mean, they all make some sense. I kind of like Gordon out of that group in low ownership. That's a pretty solid build in my opinion. Probably say Nemhard, maybe the riskiest play here, but at his price, I think he's pretty damn solid. You could obviously move some things around. You come under LeBron or Gordon, you can upgrade that spot to something a little bit safer. But again, I do think balance is probably the way to go today, especially on DK. Over on FanDuel, a little bit easier to fit payups. Do we want to try to fit Jokic?
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. We got
Yeah, let's
to
see.
go.
Let's see if it works out. So as far as value on FanDuel goes, we got Gordon, Nemhard, Brown. We didn't play Brown on DK. I think even with Joker, I want to try to get him in there, right?
Yeah.
And I do think Gordon's too cheap. So we're going heavy Nuggets on FanDuel, which is fine because I think they're reasonably owned. We played Harden on DK, right? Do we want to try maybe Kawhi, or should we just go with Harden?
Um.
Kawhi's 9K plus. Maybe just go Harden.
Yeah, I think Harden probably. I think he's in a great spot.
Yep. Okay. So now we need some cheap value. Let's see here. Probably gonna get Rui, Naismith since we went down hard on the other. Let's go Rui and Naismith.
Love it. Yeah. Is Nemhard
Uh,
cheap on DK or no?
I'm
Or sorry,
FanDuel
FanDuel.
again.
I'm tripping. Yeah, FanDuel.
5K. I mean, we could go with one of the Timberwolves guys too.
Or we could go Dante. We could go. Yeah, I'm cool with that too.
I do like Dante. I think he's got upside here. Shooting guard. I mean, I don't know that I want too many Pacers at the prices. I mean, ugh, this is kind of a gross position, not gonna lie. Maybe we pull Dante and use him at shooting guard, and we go back to point guard and maybe get someone in like the mid range here. It's gross though.
It is.
It really is. So maybe that's why Jokic is so low owned. No one wants to. There's better value, I think, at center, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and plug in. Let's see what happens if I do this. No, that's not going to work. Can't afford Brunson. Uh, 30 power forward punts.
Um.
Finney Smith.
Yeah, I don't like that play. I think that's very. I
See,
mean,
so this is why Jokic isn't popular.
yeah,
So if we're playing Jokic, we're going to have to come down from Harden, which I think is okay. But we're going to have to go to someone like Brunson, which makes things a little bit better. Now we can go ahead and get DiVincenzo in there. But yeah, now we're seeing in real time why he's not popular. But I mean, if some of these values plays get there, I know earlier I said I didn't want to play Nemhard and Naismith, but since we're not playing any other Pacers, I do think they're probably the safer value options. And then we're left with 72. What is that, Randall? Yeah, Randall or OG. I like OG.
yeah. You get that correlation too, Brunson OG.
Yeah, yeah. So this isn't terrible. I mean, like
I like
to
it.
fit Jokic, like the worst value plays are probably DiVincenzo and then the Pacers guys, but at least we know they're probably going to play minutes. If we go down from Dante to Conley, maybe they want his veteran leadership in the playoffs, something like that. We could upgrade one of those other positions, but I think this is a pretty good build. SJ asking about my boy Ben Simmons. That's another no for me, unfortunately. I mean, he could be useful. I just don't think he plays enough minutes for him to be useful in fantasy. Like, I don't know. He's a good defender. They'll put him out there a little bit. But yeah, I don't think he plays more than 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Any last second question, guys? Didn't mean to cut you off,
you're
Jayhawk. Go
good.
ahead.
Just no Ben Simmons for me too. I was just gonna double that.
Okay. Yeah. Probably good to emphasize that. But yeah, guys, again, I think it's a good slate to go balanced. A lot of the payups are low home, though. So if you're looking to get different, maybe just get off the chalkier ones like Harden, even though I love Harden. Probably a little bit overowned. Giannis, a little bit overowned. Halliburton, maybe a little bit overowned. But if you're playing any of these other guys that are rating well enough the next, you're already going to get different. Jeff asking about Bogdan. I do think he's going to get minutes. It's just will his shot fall? If it doesn't, they'll probably take him off the floor pretty quickly for defense. Guys like Jones and Batum can take minutes away from him. So he's probably one of the more I don't know. He's a guy with a wide range of outcomes. I don't mind him over like a Ben Simmons though, but risky. You get any love for Bogdan here, Jayhawk?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know the last time I played that guy since he what was that really bad night he shot like horrific on the Hawks that one night.
Oh
But
yeah,
I don't like him here. Very much.
yeah. I mean, we have him for 20 minutes. If he only plays 20, it's going to be tough for him to get there. And yeah, Rollins is going to start. I don't think it matters though. KPJ's been more productive off the bench, but I would say like if KPJ was super popular, Rollins would be a good tournament pivot, but he's not. I mean, 25% is about where he should be, honestly. I'm more comfortable going to KPJ. If you want to get different, Rollins, there's a case to be made for him. We have him for similar minutes, just been KPJ. Um, and then, yeah, Jeff, over Simmons for sure. I honestly think Derek Jones Jr. I might like more than both of them, though. Not that that's someone I'm excited to play either. But yeah, guys, once again, appreciate you being here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out the links in the description below. You have access to the model you see here. We have the lineup builder. We got Discord going for Q&A whenever you need it. On the slates when we're not streaming, Jayhawk's been dropping cheat sheets in there. We also got the MLB plug going, which we already published this morning. So much going on behind the paywall at Occupy right now. Definitely a reason to get in there. And if you're not going to get behind the paywall, definitely subscribe to the channel so you know when we go live. But yeah, looking forward to this slate today. We'll probably be back tomorrow as well. But appreciate you all. Any last thoughts, Jayhawk, before we get out of here?
No, fun slate. I'm getting reminiscing Christmas Day with these slates. So fun slate. Be ready to late swap. That'll be integral to either you cashing or shipping a tournament. And yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck.
Likewise. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.